Hey guys, today we'll be learning about the scientific method. So here's a quick definition. The scientific method is a way of asking and answering questions about our natural world. Now that's very general, so let's dive into what this really means. So first we can talk about observations. Observation is the act of viewing the world around us, and we all do it every single day, a lot of times without even realizing that we're observing things. Then we have experimentation. So it is a disciplined and controlled way of asking and answering questions about the world in an unbiased way. The unbiased part is really important. And now we have hypothesis. It is a tentative explanation based on observation, and it makes predictions that can be tested by more observation and experimentation. And a lot of times, hypothesis is mixed up with theories, but we'll get into theory later. So it's the key part of the hypothesis is the experimentation part, and one of the most powerful type of experiments is the controlled experiments. So in this kind of experiment, there is a test group and a control group. The control group has all variables remain constant, so everything in the control group is the same, there's no change, but in the test group, there is usually one change, and that is the variable. That's where the variable is introduced, and that helps us to see what kind of effect the thing that you change, which is the variable, has on the experiment. And lastly, we have theories, like I mentioned before. So a theory is a general explanation of natural phenomena supported by many experiments and observations. That's why we had to introduce it earlier on, because theories are like hypotheses that have been supported over and over again, and they remain consistent. And to show all of this in a diagram, we can draw a diagram to represent what this really means. So this is going to be the basic and general way to approach the scientific method. So it starts with observations. So we'll have observations, which would then lead to a hypothesis. Okay, and then once we have established a hypothesis, like we said in the definition, this results in making a prediction about whatever has been observed. So once we have the prediction, we can go and make more observations and more experiments. We can make more observations and experiments. And a lot of times it stops right there, and if the results are not consistent, and if they then you reject or revise the hypothesis. So this would take it all the way back to the hypothesis if the results are not consistent. But if the results are consistent over many experiments based on many related hypotheses, the hypothesis becomes a theory. And that's the main difference between the hypothesis and theory, like we said earlier. So this is the general approach to the scientific method, and this is the basics of a scientific method. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more.